Find a quiet, comfortable place. Let your body settle as you listen to my voice, soft and calm. Take a slow, deep breath in and gently breathe out. Feel your shoulders relax. Let your hands rest loosely. Close your eyes if you want. Imagine a gentle breeze brushing softly against your skin, cool and soothing. Tonight, we step quietly into a small village tucked beneath rolling hills. The stars shine like tiny lanterns scattered across the deep blue sky. The moon glows softly, casting silver light over the cobblestone paths and wooden cottages. In the heart of this village lies a special garden, full of fragrant herbs and delicate flowers. This garden belongs to the village herbalist. She is a kind woman who knows the secret language of plants. Her garden is her sanctuary, a peaceful place where she gathers the gifts of nature. The villagers come to her for remedies made from these herbs, believing in their gentle healing powers. Long ago, during medieval times, people thought the moon and stars gave magic to these plants. They believed the light of the night sky helped the herbs grow strong and calm the body and mind. Tonight, in the quiet silver glow, the herbalist walks slowly among her plants. Feel the soft rustle of leaves under her fingers as she gently touches the sprigs of lavender, rosemary, and sage. Each plant has a story, and the herbalist listens with care. The air smells sweet with their fragrance, a calming mixture that wraps around you like a warm blanket. She moves with quiet grace, picking a few sprigs of thyme and chamomile. These herbs will become a soothing tea, a gift to help anyone who feels restless or worried. The gentle bubbling of water on the fire waits nearby, ready to soften the leaves and release their calming breath. Listen to the soft sounds of the night, the gentle crackle of the hearth fire, the distant call of an owl, the faint hum of insects moving through the garden. All these little sounds blend together into a quiet lullaby, perfect for drifting into sleep. The herbalist's work is slow and careful. She knows that every movement is part of a ritual, one that is passed down through generations. The old ways say that gathering herbs under the moonlight makes their magic stronger. Tonight, she carries on this peaceful tradition. As she prepares the tea, the steam rises in soft, curling wisps. The warm, gentle scent fills the air, inviting calm and rest. Take a deep breath and imagine the sweetness of the herbs filling your lungs, soft and soothing. Now, picture yourself sitting beside the herbalist's warm fire. The garden rests all around you, quiet and safe. The night sky stretches wide above, full of stars watching over you. You feel the peace of this place settling inside you. With every breath, feel your body becoming lighter, like a feather floating on a soft breeze. The herbalist's calm presence helps your mind slow down. You are safe here, wrapped in the gentle night and the quiet magic of the garden. Soon, you will rest deeply, carried by the soft sounds and scents of this moonlit sanctuary. For now, let the herbalist's story settle into your heart like a tender song that lulls you toward dreams. The fire's warmth wraps around you like a gentle hug as you sit beside the herbalist. Outside, the garden breathes quietly under the moon's soft glow. Each leaf and petal seems to shimmer with a silvery light, like tiny treasures scattered across the earth. The scent of the herbs lingers gently in the cool night air, a delicate perfume that calms your thoughts. The herbalist smiles softly, her eyes reflecting the flickering flames. She picks up a small wooden bowl filled with dried lavender and lets it rest lightly in her hands. She tells you, in a voice as soft as a whisper, that lavender was cherished in medieval times not only for its sweet scent, but because people believed it could chase away bad dreams and bring peaceful sleep. As she speaks, you notice how quiet the night has become, as if even the stars are listening. A gentle breeze stirs the garden, carrying the scent of blooming roses and mint. The herbalist reaches for a sprig of mint and crushes it gently between her fingers. The cool aroma floats through the air, refreshing and calming. In medieval villages like this one, the herbalist was an important friend. She helped the villagers with little ailments, aches, sleepless nights, and worries that felt too big. The plants she gathered were gifts from the earth, each one holding a promise of healing and comfort. Tonight, you feel that promise wrapping around you like a soft blanket. The herbalist moves slowly, almost in a dance with the night, her hands delicate and sure. She places the herbs carefully into a small clay pot, adding warm water from a kettle that sings quietly as it boils. The steam rises in gentle swirls, carrying a soothing fragrance that fills the air between you. Outside the garden gate, the village sleeps. The wooden shutters rest closed, and the quiet footfalls of nighttime creatures echo softly in the distance. The herbalist's voice lowers to a gentle murmur as she tells you about an old belief that the light of the moon could strengthen the healing power of herbs gathered at night. This made nighttime herbalists especially respected and a little mysterious. You imagine the village children dreaming peacefully, the soft hum of the night weaving a blanket of calm over their slumber. The herbalist's tea is almost ready now. She pours it slowly into a cup carved from smooth wood. The warm liquid glows faintly in the firelight, inviting you to take a sip. As you breathe in the tea's gentle aroma, feel the warmth spread from your chest to your fingertips and toes. The calming power of the herbs flows through you, easing any worries or tension. With each slow breath, your body sinks deeper into comfort. The garden around you feels alive with quiet magic. The soft rustle of the herbs, the whisper of leaves brushing in the breeze, and the distant hoot of the owl all blend into a gentle song. This song, ancient and kind, invites your mind to drift peacefully toward rest. In this moment, you are held by the night, safe, calm, and cared for. The herbalist's moonlit garden is a sanctuary where dreams are gentle and sleep comes softly. Feel your eyelids growing heavier, your thoughts slowing like a calm stream, and as the night deepens, you let yourself float peacefully, cradled by the soft scents and sounds of this magical place. The warm tea rests lightly in your hands, its gentle heat comforting and soothing. As you sip, the herbalist begins to tell a quiet tale about one of the plants in her garden, the valerian root. Long ago, medieval healers believed valerian was a special gift from the earth, a natural helper for peaceful sleep and quiet dreams. The herbalist's voice is soft and slow, like a gentle breeze brushing through the trees. She explains how the root has a delicate scent, sometimes called sleep's friend. As you listen, imagine the pale flowers of the valerian plant swaying gently in the evening air, their scent drifting softly on the night breeze. Outside the garden, the moon moves slowly across the sky, tracing a silver path among the stars. The soft light touches the petals and leaves, making the garden sparkle with quiet life. The herbalist moves carefully among her plants, her hands brushing gently over the soft leaves. Each herb in her garden has a special story. Some were used to heal aches, others to calm worries, and many to bring a sense of peace when the world feels busy or loud. Tonight, the garden feels like a secret world, hidden beneath the gentle light of the stars. The herbalist kneels beside a small patch of thyme. She tells you that in medieval times, thyme was believed to bring courage and calm the heart. Knights carried thyme with them for bravery, while villagers used it to ease their minds after a long day. The tiny leaves release a fresh, clean scent as she crushes them gently. The quiet sounds of the night continue to weave their soft melody. The distant croak of frogs near a gentle stream, the rustle of small animals moving through the underbrush, and the faint whisper of wind in the trees. These sounds wrap around you, like a cozy blanket tucking you in. The herbalist gathers a handful of chamomile flowers, their pale petals glowing softly in the moonlight. She tells you that chamomile has been used for centuries to calm the body and ease the mind. The flowers look delicate, like little stars resting on the earth. As she works, the herbalist hums a slow, soothing tune. Her song floats through the garden, blending with the sounds of the night, The gentle rhythm invites your mind to slow down and your body to relax deeper into comfort. Imagine the warmth of the fire beside you, its soft glow flickering gently. The herbalist's garden feels like a quiet haven, far away from the noise and rush of the day. Here, time slows, and peace fills the air. The herbalist finishes preparing another cup of tea, filled with the calming sense of thyme, chamomile, and valerian. She offers it to you with a gentle smile, inviting you to take another sip and feel the gentle magic of the garden's night. With every breath, you feel yourself growing lighter and calmer. The herbalist's moonlit garden is a place where worries fade and rest comes. Let your thoughts drift like leaves on a slow-moving stream, carried gently toward peaceful sleep. The night deepens, wrapped in soft shadows and silver light. The garden holds you gently, cradling you with its quiet beauty. And as you rest here, you know that you are safe, calm, and ready to drift into sweet dreams. The night stretches on, slow and steady like a gentle river. The garden rests beneath a sky sprinkled with stars, each one twinkling softly like a tiny lullaby. The herbalist sits quietly, her hands folded in her lap, breathing in the calm air that surrounds her. She begins to tell you about a curious plant growing near the edge of her garden. In medieval times, mugwort was thought to protect travelers and bring sweet dreams. People believed that carrying a small pouch of mugwort could guide their sleep and keep nightmares far away. The leaves of mugwort are soft and feathery, with a faintly spicy scent that mingles with the cooler night air. Imagine reaching out to touch them, feeling their gentle texture beneath your fingertips. The herbalist's voice drifts over you, soft and steady, like the whisper of the wind through the trees. As she speaks, the garden seems to breathe with life. Tiny moths flutter near the flowers, their wings brushing the air in delicate patterns. The sound of crickets begins a slow, rhythmic chorus, weaving through the quiet night. The herbalist moves slowly to a small wooden bench beneath an ancient oak tree. Its branches stretch wide, offering shelter and shade during the day, and now a comforting embrace under the moonlight. She tells you that in medieval times, people believed old trees held the memories of the land, and resting beneath them could bring peace to a weary heart. You close your eyes for a moment and picture the soft moss beneath the oak, cool and springy like a gentle pillow. The leaves rustle above, a soothing sound that lulls your mind towards stillness. The herbalist picks a handful of evening primrose flowers, their pale petals glowing faintly in the moonlight. She explains that these flowers were once used to ease aches and calm restless minds. Their delicate beauty seems to hold a quiet promise of healing and rest. A soft breeze stirs the garden, carrying with it the mingling scents of mugwort, primrose, and fresh earth. The herbalist breathes deeply, inviting you to do the same, filling your lungs with the peaceful fragrance. The fire beside you flickers gently, casting warm shadows that dance slowly across the garden's stone paths. The herbalist's calm presence wraps around you like a soft shawl, steady and kind. You feel your body sinking deeper into relaxation, your breath becoming slow and even. The garden's gentle magic holds you tenderly, a safe place where your mind can drift away from the day's noise and into calm. The herbalist's story fades into a whisper as your thoughts grow quiet and soft. The moon hangs high, its gentle light guiding you toward dreams filled with peace and comfort. And in this quiet garden, under the watchful stars, you find the sweetest rest. A light hush falls over the garden as the moon climbs higher, casting long silver shadows that sway with the breeze. The herbalist gently adds a few small logs to the fire, and the soft crackle returns, comforting and warm like the voice of a familiar friend. You settle more deeply into the blanket draped over your shoulders, the warmth seeping into your skin. The herbalist places a tiny bundle of herbs into a shallow clay dish and sets it near the fire. A spiral of smoke begins to rise thin, slow, and fragrant. She tells you that in medieval times, Bundles like these were called herb smudges, and they were often burned to cleanse a space or to invite calm spirits. Tonight's bundle includes rosemary, sage, and lemon bemich leaf, chosen not just for its scent, but for its ancient meaning. Rosemary, she explains, was once believed to strengthen memory and bring clarity to dreams. It was often placed beneath pillows to stir the imagination while protecting the dreamer. The scent lingers in the air, now fresh, piney, and ever so faint. Sage was sacred to many healers, thought to bring wisdom and keep the air pure. In the hush of the night, the sage smoke curls gently, as if whispering secrets into the cool air. Lemon balm, sweet and citrusy, was used by medieval monks to lift the spirit during long hours of study. The herbalist smiles as she speaks, her voice like a soft stream over smooth stones. She tells you that many believed dreams carried messages, tiny pieces of wisdom passed down from the stars or the plants themselves. When the world was still and the herbs were right, a sleeper might receive a gift of insight hidden in their rest. Above, the stars blink slowly, their glow soft and steady. The sound of a night bird calls once in the distance, low and rhythmic, and then fades back into the silence. Somewhere nearby, a fox pads softly across fallen leaves, its steps to light to disturb the peace. The garden feels almost enchanted, as if it exists between two worlds, part of the earth, yet also drifting in a quiet, timeless place. The firelight reflects in the herbalist's eyes as she begins to hum again, her tune soft and winding, without beginning or end. You feel your breath match the rhythm of her song. In, out, slow dot. The warmth in your chest spreads outward like a gentle tide. She brings over a smooth stone bowl filled with warm water and dried petals. She dips a cloth into the bowl and gently wrings it out. The scent of rose and marjoram fills the air as she places the cloth into your hands. She tells you about marjoram herb, loved by medieval cooks and healers alike. Not only did it flavor stews and bread, but it was known to bring a sense of warmth to the heart and ease to the spirit. Just the scent of it was believed to calm anxious thoughts. The cloth rests in your palms, and the warmth seeps into your skin. The scent pulls you further into stillness. The night has deepened into its quietest hour. In the herbalist's garden, the world is soft and slow. Thoughts drift like petals on water, and somewhere in the space between each breath, sleep begins to gently arrive. The stars shimmer like distant lanterns, watching over the world with quiet patience. You can feel the warmth of the herbal cloth fading slowly in your hands, leaving behind a sense of ease that lingers long after the heat is gone. The pages are worn and soft from years of turning, each one filled with faded ink and pressed herbs. This, she explains in a hush, is her grandmother's garden, journal passed down through generations of healers. The herbalist sits close by, her presence like a steady flame, moving, calm and kind. In medieval times, this star-shaped blossom was called the herb of gladness. It was often used in wine or tea to lift the spirit and bring courage to those who felt weary. She leans slightly forward, lifting a small leather-bound book from the basket beside her. She opens the book gently, revealing a page with careful sketches of a delicate blue flower. Borage, she whispers, all around you. The night is folded in close, like a comforting cloak. Knights would sip borage before battle, and poets might drink it before reading aloud. She places a few dried lavender buds into a tiny linen pouch and offers it to you, and your eyes begin to close, not in effort, but in surrender to rest. Place this near your pillow, she says in a whisper, and let it carry you through the quiet hours. In the hush of night, it promises comfort like a warm hand over the heart. Your thoughts are slow now, drifting like feathers on air. There is nothing you need to do, nowhere you need to go. Just this moment, just this peace. The garden seems to breathe with you, its rhythm matched to your own, steady, gentle, at peace. The herbalist points to a small pot nearby, where the same blue flowers bloom under the moonlight. their petals cool and bright in a quiet dark. The herbalist crumbles a few dried leaves in her palm and lets the scent drift toward you, light as mist. In the Middle Ages, it was believed to be a powerful protector, used to guard both body and soul. Monks planted it around abbeys, and villagers wore it in pouches for peaceful sleep. You let your eyes rest on them for a moment, feeling your breath slow even further. She flips to another page this time, a drawing of an herb that curls like ivy. The scent of betony is earthy and grounding, like moss-covered stones after a light rain. Around the edges of the garden, tall lavender stalks sway slowly in the wind. Their scent is familiar, gentle, and deeply relaxing. She speaks softly about how lavender was sewn into pillows and scattered on floors in medieval bedrooms, not only for its beauty, but for its soothing power. People believed it could ease sadness and welcome dreams filled with warmth and comfort. A soft hush falls again, broken only by the delicate sounds of the garden and the hum of the wind, the rustle of leaves, the low snap of firewood settling into glowing embers. The herbalist closes her journal and rests it beside her. As you hold the pouch in your hands, its warmth and scent curl around you like a lullaby. The garden is still. The fire is low. The stars are high. The garden settles into its quietest hour deep night, when even the wind seems to pause. The stars hang low now, silver and slow, and the moon, nearly full, casts a soft, silken glow over every leaf and stone. Inside it grows a patch of valerian, tall and feathery, with pale white blossoms that seem to glow faintly in the moonlight. Physicians of the Middle Ages used its roots in tonics and tinctures to calm the heart and quiet the racing mind. Its name even comes from the Latin word velia, which means to be well, to be strong. The fire has dimmed to a bed of glowing embers, their warmth steady and hushed. The herbalist rises slowly, her movements unhurried, and walks toward a corner of the garden marked by a circle of small, flat stones. As you sip, the taste is delicate, with hints of sweetness and something deeper, a whisper of wild meadows and moonlit hills. Each swallow carries you a little further from the waking world, that if you listened closely, the hoot of an owl might be the sound of someone else's dream passing overhead. She kneels and brushes her fingers along the stalks. In medieval times, she says softly, valerian was one of the most treasured herbs for sleep. The herbalist gazes upward, her eyes reflecting starlight. She pours warm water over the herbs, and the scent begins to drift upward, floral, soft, and full of memories. A tea to soothe the soul. The warmth from the tea spreads through you like the last light of day. The garden, the fire, the night, they all seem to blend into one soft, endless space where time gently fades. You imagine monks in candlelit rooms, mixing valerian root with warm honey, whispering prayers over steaming cups. The scent, earthy and faintly sweet, reaches you now, comforting and deep, like the promise of rest. The herbalist hums again as she gathers a few sprigs, laying them gently in a wooden bowl. Sleep is near, waiting patiently just beyond the next breath. Then, with care, she adds crushed chamomile blossoms, another ancient remedy. She tells you that even kings and queens sipped chamomile tea before sleep, believing it softened the body's worries and opened the mind to healing dreams. The herbalist brings the bowl near the fire, where a kettle simmers quietly. She hands you a cup, warm and light in your palms. She sits beside you once more, and for a while there are no words, only the shared silence of a peaceful night. "Did you know," she murmurs, "in some villages people believed dreams traveled on the wings of owls, far in the distance, as if summoned by the thought. An owl calls one soft, low, and echoing like a secret carried through the sky. The garden listens, so do you. Your breath has slowed, your limbs heavy with ease. You rest your hands in your lap and feel the earth below you firm and ancient, the way it has always been." The herbalist smiles without speaking. Her stories are finished for now, but their echoes remain, like petals floating on still water. And as the owl's call fades into the night, your eyes grow heavier. The silence has deepened, like a blanket tucked in closer. Even the breeze moves more slowly now, threading through tall herbs with the grace of an old lullaby. A trace of warmth lingers in your hands, fading gently like a dream just before waking. Beyond it lies the moonplat, a special patch of garden planted only with herbs that bloom or glow under moonlight. The herbalist begins to hum again, low and slow, an old tune passed down through centuries, one once sung in monastery kitchens and wayfarers' inns alike. These sacred spaces were meant to calm both soul and senses, filled with night-blossoming plants like evening primrose, white campion, and moon. The night holds you gently in its palms, and the herbalist's garden breathes with a rhythm that much is your own. Alchemists and travelers carried it in pouches, hoping it would guide them to the unknown, spiritual or otherwise. Beside the embers, your teacup now rests empty. You watch as moths flutter near, drawn by a scent too delicate to name. How they would sleep under trees, with herbs tied to their wrists to ward off bad spirits and summon sweet dreams. Time is fluid here. You don't know how long you've sat by the fire, or how many heartbeats have passed, but none of it matters. She tells you that even peasants, with nothing but hay and a wooden spoon, might tuck a sprig of rosemary beneath their pillow for courage through the night. Inside, she's placed a mix of crushed primrose petals and dried valerian root, stitched into linen with lavender thread. The scent of herbs, the whisper of wind, the warmth of the fire each, one a thread in a blanket you didn't know you needed. A dream sachet, she murmurs, to rest near your heart. The story lives in sound and breath, in warmth and wonder. She stands once more, walking along a narrow stone path that winds behind a trellis of woven vines. This tradition, she tells you softly, dates back to medieval convents and cloisters, where nuns would tend lunar gardens under the stars. She brushes her hand over the soft petals of moonwort, an ancient fern once believed to unlock secrets and even open locked doors. But here, it's just for peace, for soft thoughts, for dreams. A nearby bloom of evening primrose catches the light, its petals unfurling right now, as if waking just as the rest of the world drifts off. Primrose was once used in medieval love potions. She whispers, smiling, a scent from another time, one that feels like memory and moonlight combined. The trellis creaks slightly as she returns, a small pouch in her hand. As you hold it close, the scent is soft and She speaks once more, this time of medieval travelers. Above you, the stars tilt slowly westward, tracing their ancient path. All that matters is this stillness, this safety, this night. The garden seems to lean in now, as if offering itself to your rest. You close your eyes, you don't need to see anymore, and somewhere, beyond the trellis, moonwort glows quietly in the dark air, an ancient light, guiding dreamers home. The fire's glow is faint now, like the final ember of a candle nearing sleep. It flickers quietly in the still air, casting long shadows across the garden, floor shadows that stretch, then soften, as if settling down to rest with you. From it, she retrieves a narrow scroll, tied with faded ribbon. It crackles softly as she unrolls it by the light of a single hanging lantern. The herbalist wraps a shawl around her shoulders and walks slowly to a wooden shelf set against the stone wall of her cottage. Some words are in Latin, others in medieval English, still others in symbols only known to a few. This, she says gently, is an herb keeper's almanac. My grandmother copied it from a healer's journal nearly 100 years ago, and that journal was copied from one kept during the reign of Edward III. The pages are lined with handwritten notes, recipes, star charts, phases of the moon, and guidance passed from hand to hand through centuries. She reads one aloud in a whisper. The script faded, you shift slightly, the sachet still tucked near your heart, its scent mingling with the garden's own. That when you slept close to the roots of plants, Your spirit would wander into their memories, but the meaning intact. When sleep grows thin and shadow stirred, steep time in sage beneath moonbird's song, a dream not made by you, but borrowed from the world. Moonbird, she smiles softly, was an old word for nightingale. You can almost hear the song now, a delicate, silvery melody woven into the air, as if carried in on the breeze. You breathe in, and the scent of time seems to fill your chest. You breathe out, and feel yourself soften, like petals folding inward. Not just a place of rest, but a place of memory of the thousands who have come before, seeking sleep, healing, or just a pause from time. In the Middle Ages, the nightingale was believed to bring protection in the dark, its song guarding against sorrow and waking fears. Inside them are slivers of dried bark, curls of orange peel, specks of crushed rosehip, and even a pinch of stardust-colored powder that she won't explain. One section holds a list of dream symbols: owls, bridges, braided hair, running streams. Another, tucked into the corner, holds a pressed flower, flattened and dry, but still pale blue. "Forget-me-not," she murmurs, a reminder of something or someone, not to be lost in sleep. She turns a few more pages, letting her finger trail across each line. She folds the scroll gently and places it back on the shelf, where it rests alongside tiny jars sealed with bees. A soft breeze drifts through the garden gate. The air is cool and smells faintly of moss and turned earth. "Some believed," she says quietly, "that dreams came from the earth itself. You imagine it slipping gently into the thoughts of lavender, the hopes of mint, the quiet wisdom of rosemary. And now the garden seems even older. The night grows deeper, like a pool without a bottom, calm and dark and endless." The herbalist's voice is barely above a breath now. "Sleep is not a break from the world," she says. "It is where the world opens wider." Her eyes reflect the firelight, steady, quiet, knowing. And just beyond the gate, the nightingale sings again. The song of the nightingale fades slowly, like the echo of a bell long after it has stopped ringing. Its last note floats into the cool air and disappears among the branches overhead, leaving only the hush of wind and the steady rhythm of your breath. You lie back slightly, resting against a cushion the herbalist brings from her cottager, a simple linen pillow, scented with chamomile and stuffed with down. She places it beneath your head with a gentle hand, and your eyes flutter closed for a moment, just long enough to feel the heaviness settle in your chest, your shoulders, your limbs. From somewhere within her home, she retrieves a small box carved from walnut wood, not just for kings or ceremonies, but sometimes. Then she reaches into her satchel and draws out a small woven charm, shaped like a circle with herbs tucked through the threads. For sleep, it helps to spin your worries into something softer, something that floats away while you sleep. Only the occasional crackle remains, like the garden whispering one last story before sleep. Somewhere nearby, the owl calls again, low and slow, a single note, then silence. In times of plague, they hung herbs above their doors and carried pomandors filled with cloves and oranges. You think of your own thoughts turning like that, circling slower and slower until they stop. It's cool and damp, but not cold. You feel as if the earth is holding you, as if the garden is not a place you're visiting, but a part of you you've come back to. But here, there is no need for fear. The air itself feels like a promise. All is well. She opens it carefully, revealing a collection of tiny glass vials, each holding a different hue of oil amber, gold, rose, and pale green. The scent is warm and calming, like a field just before harvest, with knights and weavers, with scholars and singers, with travelers who looked up at the same stars and wished only for rest. She dabs another near your temple rose and lemon balm, mixed just for this night. "These were used in medieval anointing rituals," she whispers. She uncorks one bottle and dabs a single drop of lavender oil on your wrist. In the Middle Ages, People believed smells could guard the soul during sleep, warding off illness, sorrow, or wandering dreams. She places the vial box beside the fire, where it catches the light like stained glass. "This is a dream wheel," she murmurs, "used by healers in northern villages." She turns it slowly between her fingers, and you watch as it spins in the firelight slowly. The fire has dimmed to a soft orange core. You hear the rustle of the trees, the steady hum of crickets tucked between stems of lemon balm and foxglove. You let your fingers rest on the grass beside you. The herbalist places one more log on the fire, but it doesn't flare it, only glows softly, enough to cast warmth without waking. And then she speaks once more. "Tonight, you sleep with every dreamer before you." Her voice slows, almost to silence. "You are safe now. You are home." The world feels slower now, as if even time has curled up to rest. You hear the faint clink of pottery, the herbalist rinsing her hands in a stone bowl near the fire. Water trickles gently, and the sound blends into the night like a stream behind the walls of your thoughts. She hums an old melody under her breath, one passed down through centuries. Some are meant for growing silence and sleep. On its surface lies an open book, its pages fluttering ever so slightly in the breeze. It's handwritten, the ink faded in places, and bound in leather that's cracked with age. A lullaby once sung by mothers in candlelit cottages when stars were the only clock. You shift slightly under the blanket she placed earlier, woven from thick wool and smelling faintly of wildflowers and cedar. It settles over you like a second skin. The grass beneath you feels softer now, like moss on the floor of a sleeping forest. "Not all gardens are meant for growing food," she whispers as she sits beside you once more. "In the Middle Ages, people believed it guided spirits in their dreams, a gentle guardian of rest." She gestures toward the corner of the garden, where a weathered stone bench sits beneath a creeping vine. The fire whispers beside you. "It's a book of dreams," she says, "left by travelers and villagers over the years. Some wrote what they saw while sleeping, others wrote what they hoped to find." You imagine their words drifting into the night air, stories of bridges made of starlight, of ships that sailed across skies, of letters sent and never opened, of hands held once and never forgotten. The herbalist turns her gaze toward the sky. "Look," she murmurs, "above, the clouds have thinned. A cluster of stars shines through like lanterns lit just for you. The constellation of the Swan Cygnus spreads its wings overhead, not rushed, not loud, just drifting. Let your thoughts rise like that," she says, pointing to the stars. You follow the path of a finger with your eyes and feel something loosen in your chest, like a thread unspooling, gentle and slow. A peace begins to settle into your bones, not sudden, not sharp, but like the slow filling of a quiet room with morning light. The owl calls once more, closer now, as if checking in. You hear your own breath, soft and deep, and with each beat of the wind through the leaves, your thoughts grow fewer, quieter, lighter. The fire is faded now into a cradle of glowing coals. It no longer dances, only breathes a soft warmth that hums against the cool night. Around you, the garden holds its breath, as if every leaf and petal has joined you in stillness. Some goodbyes are better whispered in silence. The herbalist rises slowly, gathering her satchel and folding the blanket a little tighter around your shoulders. She does not speak now. There is no need. The nightingale has stopped its song, replaced by the hush of dew settling onto blades of grass. The owl has flown on, only the wind remains, gentle and slow, rustling through rosemary and thyme. In medieval times, it was called All Heal, believed to calm the heart and ease restless spirits. And just beside it, the faint shimmer of the lyre, a constellation once believed to play lullabies only the sleeping could hear. Above you, the stars gleam brighter, no longer distant, but near, like quiet companions. The swan drifts westward, its wings unfurled. The herbalist places one last herb at your side. Valerian root, wrapped in linen and twine. This is your garden now, her voice says softly, though you are no longer sure if she's still standing beside you or only in your dream. Return whenever you like, even if only in sleep. And then she is gone. The garden fades, but only just becoming part of your own quiet sky. But you are not alone. You rest in the cradle of earth and stars, of fire and scent, of ancient memory and quiet night. Your thoughts dissolve like mist at dawn. Your breath deepens, and in that stillness you drift, weightless, timeless, home. Take a moment now, just breathe. Let your body sink into whatever comfortable position you found. Feel the weight of your head against your pillow, the gentle pressure of your blanket, the softness beneath you supporting every part of your body. Close your eyes if you haven't already, and simply allow yourself to arrive here, in this moment, in this space, where there is nothing you need to do, nowhere you need to go, just the gentle rhythm of your breathing, in and out, in and out. Notice how your chest rises and falls naturally, without any effort from you. Your body knows exactly what to do. Breathing happens all on its own, and with each breath, you can feel yourself settling deeper, becoming more relaxed, more at peace. Let your shoulders drop. Feel them releasing any tension they've been holding. Your neck and head becoming heavy. Your arms loose and comfortable by your sides. Your hands open and relaxed. Your fingers soft and still. Feel your back pressed against the surface beneath you, supported completely. Your hips settling, your legs heavy and still. Your feet warm and comfortable, every part of your body finding its natural state of rest. And now, as you continue breathing so peacefully, so naturally, allow your mind to become as quiet as your body. Thoughts may drift by like gentle clouds. You don't need to follow them, just let them pass and return to the sound of my voice. My voice will guide you now into a story, a journey that will carry you softly towards sleep. Our story begins along the ancient salt roads of medieval Europe, where merchants brave enough to travel these dangerous routes carried treasures more valuable than gold. White crystals that could preserve food through the harshest winters. Salt, so precious that Roman soldiers were paid in salt, giving us the very word we use today, saluri. But tonight, our journey takes us to a peaceful moment, a moment of rest, along these timeless paths, where the only sounds are the gentle creaking of wooden wheels, the soft jingle of harness bells, and the quiet, rhythmic breathing of traveling companions. Feel yourself becoming part of this world, this peaceful, medieval night, where time moves slowly, where the modern world fades away, and only the gentle rhythm of the road remains. The sun has set behind rolling hills, painting the sky in soft purples and deep blues, and along the ancient salt road, merchant Johann guides his precious caravan to a familiar resting place, a grove of oak trees beside a clear, babbling brook. Listen, can you hear it? The gentle whisper of water over smooth stones, the soft rustle of leaves in the evening breeze, the quiet snorting of oxen as they lower their massive heads to drink from the cool stream. Johann's oxen are magnificent creatures, strong and patient, their massive shoulders rolling with each step, their breath creating small clouds of mist in the cooling air. They have carried their precious cargo for many miles today, and now they too are ready for rest. The merchant moves slowly, deliberately, unhitching the great wooden wheels from the oxen's harnesses. The leather straps creak softly as they're loosened, the jingling of brass buckles creating a gentle melody, each small sound adding to the peaceful symphony of evening. Johann's hands are skilled, weathered by years of travel, but gentle as he tends to his faithful animals. He runs his palm along each ox's flank, feeling their warmth, their solid presence. These animals are his partners, his companions on the long, lonely roads. Feel yourself relaxing deeper as you watch Johann's careful movements, his unhurried pace. There is no rush here, no urgency, only the natural rhythm of Endufte rituals, the comfort of routine, the peace of familiar tasks. The caravan carries something remarkable, something that would astound people of our time. Salt, but not just any salt. This is salt from the ancient mines deep beneath the earth, salt that has been forming for thousands of years. Each crystal a tiny miracle of nature. In Johann's time, in the 14th century, salt is more valuable than gold. A pound of salt can buy a month's worth of bread. A sack of salt can purchase a horse. This white treasure ensures that families survive the winter, that meat stays fresh, that life continues. Johann carefully checks his cargo, lifting the heavy canvas covers, revealing sacks upon sacks of white crystals, each grain catching the last light of day, sparkling like tiny diamonds. The salt is packed carefully, protected from moisture, each sack tied with rope and marked with Johann's personal seal. He runs his fingers through the coarse crystals, feeling their weight, their texture. Each grain represents safety, security, the continuation of life in medieval villages across the land. This salt will preserve fish through Lent, cure meat for long winters, heal wounds, and flavor the simple meals of countless families. The responsibility weighs on Johann's shoulders, but it's a good weight, the weight of purpose, of service, of being part of something larger than himself. He is a link in an ancient chain, connecting the salt mines to the villages, the producers to the families who depend on this precious cargo. Feel that sense of purpose, that connection to something timeless, as you sink deeper into this peaceful medieval evening, where the most important things in life are simple, essential, and deeply meaningful. Johann chooses his camping spot with the wisdom of years. Here, beneath the spreading branches of an ancient oak tree, where the grass is soft and thick, where the brook provides fresh water, where the morning sun will warm the camp gently. He's camped here before. This tree has sheltered him many times. Its trunk is massive, its bark deeply grooved with age, its branches spread wide like protective arms, offering shelter from wind and rain. The tree has stood here for centuries, watching over travelers, providing comfort and protection. Johann spreads his thick woolen blanket on the soft grass. The blanket is woven from the finest wool, dyed a deep, rich blue. It's been his companion for many journeys, soft from use, warm and comforting. It smells of wood smoke and pine, of adventures and peaceful nights under the stars. He arranges his simple possessions with care. His leather water pouch, worn smooth by countless smiles. His wooden bowl, carved from a single piece of oak. His small iron knife, its blade kept sharp and clean. His fire, steel and tinder, essential for warmth and hot food. Everything has its place. Everything serves a purpose. There is beauty in this simplicity, in having only what you need, in knowing that each item has been chosen for its usefulness, its reliability, its ability to make life on the road possible. Feel yourself embracing this simplicity, this peaceful reduction to what truly matters, as your body continues to relax, to settle, to find its own natural rhythm of rest. Johann gathers kindling with practiced hands, small twigs, dry leaves, strips of bark from fallen branches, each piece chosen carefully, examined for dryness, for how it will burn. The art of fire making is essential for survival, but it's also a meditation, a ritual that connects him to countless generations of travelers. He strikes his fire steel against the flint, sending sparks dancing into the tinder. The dry moss catchers, glowing red, then orange, then bursting into tiny flames. He feeds the fire slowly, gently, adding larger twigs, then small branches, watching as the flames grow stronger, more confident. The fire crackles softly, a sound as old as humanity itself. The flames dance hypnotically, casting golden light on Johann's weathered face, on the massive oak tree, on the peaceful oxen grazing nearby. The smoke rises straight up in the still air, a thin column disappearing into the darkening sky. Johann arranges smooth stones around the fire, creating a safe circle. The stones absorb the heat, storing it for later. When the fire dies down, they will continue to radiate warmth through the night. Ancient wisdom, simple solutions, the knowledge of how to live comfortably with very little. He fills his iron pot with fresh water from the brook. The water is cold and clear, running over smooth pebbles, filtered through sand and earth. It tastes of rain and mountain streams, of purity and life. He sets the pot near the fire, watching as the flames begin to warm the metal. The sound of gently boiling water joins the crackling fire, the murmuring brook, the soft rustle of leaves, nature's own lullaby, a symphony of peaceful sounds that have soothed travelers for thousands of years. Johan's meal is simple, but deeply satisfying. From his pack he takes a small cloth bag. Inside are oats, each grain plump and whole, grown in distant fields, harvested by hand, carried hundreds of miles to feed him on his journey. He adds the oats to the warming water, stirring slowly with a wooden spoon. The oats begin to swell, absorbing the water, becoming soft and nourishing. A pinch of salt from his precious cargo, just a pinch, transforms the simple grain into something warming and complete. The porridge bubbles gently, steam rising from the pot, carrying the earthy scent of oats, the clean smell of fresh water, the faint taste of salt. Simple ingredients, but they represent the fundamental elements of life: grain, water, salt, the building blocks of survival and comfort. Johann eats slowly, savoring each spoonful, grateful for the warmth, the nourishment, the simple pleasure of hot food after a long day's journey. He knows that this meal, this moment, is a gift, not to be rushed, not to be taken for granted. Between bites, he listens to the night sounds, an owl calling softly from a distant tree, the gentle lowing of his oxen, the whisper of wind through leaves, the eternal murmur of the brook. Each sound is part of the peaceful tapestry of evening, weaving together into a blanket of tranquility. Feel yourself embracing this sense of gratitude, this appreciation for simple pleasures, as your breathing becomes even deeper, even more relaxed. Your body sinking further into comfort and peace. Johan's oxen have found their own comfort in the soft grass beside the brook. These magnificent animals, each weighing nearly 1,000 pounds, are gentle giants, patient and steadfast. Their massive heads nod as they crop the sweet grass, their jaws moving in slow, rhythmic circles, a sound like distant thunder, soft and continuous. Their breath creates small clouds in the cooling air. Their coats, thick and shaggy, provide perfect insulation against the night's chill. One ox, the larger of the two, lies down with a contented sigh, his massive body settling into the earth, his legs folded beneath him, his head still raised, alert but peaceful. The second ox continues grazing, moving slowly, deliberately, from one patch of grass to another. His hooves make soft impressions in the damp earth. His tail swishes occasionally, brushing away the few insects that dare approach. Every movement is calm, measured, without hurry or stress. Johann watches his animals with deep affection. These oxen are more than just beasts of burden. They are companions, partners in his livelihood. He knows each one's temperament, their preferences, their moods. The larger ox, named Thunder, is bold and confident, always first to enter rivers, first to approach strangers. The smaller one, Storm, is more cautious, more thoughtful, but equally steady and reliable. Johann rises quietly, moves to each ox in turn, running his hands along their flanks, checking for cuts, for sore spots, for any signs of discomfort. His touch is gentle, expert, the touch of someone who understands animals, who respects their service and sacrifice. The oxen accept his attention with quiet pleasure, their eyes half closed, their breathing deep and regular. They trust him completely, knowing that he will care for them, provide for them, protect them. This is the bond between human and animal, forged by mutual dependence, strengthened by kindness and respect. Watch as your own breathing matches the slow, steady rhythm of these peaceful animals. Feel your body settling, like the oxen settling into the soft grass, your muscles relaxing, your mind becoming as calm as these gentle giants. As full darkness settles over the land, the sky begins to reveal its ancient magic. One by one, stars appear, first the brightest, then the dimmer ones, until the entire heavens sparkle with countless points of light. The moon, a silver crescent, hangs low in the western sky, casting just enough light to illuminate the peaceful camp. Jahan adds another piece of wood to the fire, not for warmth, but for the comfort of the light, the company of the flames. The fire has burned down to glowing coals, red and orange, pulsing gently like a sleeping heart. The occasional flame dances up, casting shadows that move and sway, creating a dance of light and darkness. He lies back on his blanket, his hands behind his head, looking up at the infinite display above. These are the same stars that have guided travelers for countless generations, the same moon that has watched over merchant caravans, pilgrims, knights, and common folk for thousands of years. In Johan's time, before electric lights, before the modern world, the night sky is brilliant, beyond imagination. The Milky Way stretches across the heavens like a river of light, bright enough to read by. The constellations shine with crystal clarity, each star a beacon, a guide, a companion in the darkness. Jahan knows these stars, has learned their names, their stories. The North Star, always faithful, always pointing the way home. The Great Bear, wheeling slowly around the pole. The Swan, flying eternally through the star-filled sky. Each constellation is a friend, a familiar face in the vast darkness. The air is crisp and clean, carrying the scents of grass and earth, of wood smoke and distant pine, of the clean, fresh smell of the brook. There is no noise here, no hurry, no demands, only the gentle sounds of nature, the soft crackling of the fire, the quiet breathing of the oxen, the distant call of a night bird. Feel yourself becoming part of this peaceful scene, your body as still as the sleeping oxen, your mind as clear as the star-filled sky, your breathing as steady as the gentle flow of the brook. As Johan gazes at the stars, he thinks about the ancient roads he travels. These salt roads are older than memory, worn smooth by countless feet, hooves, and wheels. Romans marched these paths, carrying salt from the coastal flats to the inland cities. Medieval merchants have followed these routes for centuries, each adding to the worn groove in the earth. The road Johan travels connects distant salt mines to hungry villages. It passes through forests where bandits hide, across rivers where bridges must be paid for, through mountain passes where snow lingers late into spring. But it also passes through peaceful valleys, past monasteries where monks offer shelter, through market towns where friends wait with warm welcomes. Each mile of the road has its own story, its own memories. Jahan has learned them all. The stone bridge where he first met his wife, the inn where he always stops for fresh bread, the hilltop shrine where he says prayers for safe travel, the grove where he once sheltered during a terrible storm. The salt he carries has its own ancient story. Deep beneath the earth, in caves carved by underground rivers, salt has been forming for millions of years. Each crystal began as a drop of seawater, trapped, concentrated, transformed by time and pressure into something precious and pure. The miners who extract this salt work in darkness, by candlelight, following veins of white crystal through narrow tunnels. Their fathers worked these mines, and their fathers before them, each generation passing down the knowledge, the skills, the courage needed to harvest this buried treasure. Jahan is part of this ancient chain, connecting the dark mines to the bright world above, carrying the salt that preserves life, that makes food taste good, that heals wounds, that purifies water. His work is humble, but essential. He is a link between the earth's gifts and human need. Feel yourself connecting to this sense of purpose, this feeling of being part of something larger, older, more important than any individual life. As your body continues to relax, to settle, to find its natural rhythm of rest, the night is full of gentle sounds, each one adding to the peaceful symphony of evening. The brook continues its eternal murmur, water flowing over stones, around roots, through pools and shallows. The sound is constant, hypnotic, like a lullaby that never ends. In the distance, an owl calls, his voice soft and questioning. Who? The sound echoes briefly, then fades, leaving only the continuing whisper of water, the soft crackling of the dying fire, the gentle breathing of the sleeping oxen. The night breeze stirs the leaves of the great oak tree. The branches move slowly, gracefully, like arms reaching up to embrace the stars. The leaves rustle softly, a sound like gentle applause, or like rain on a distant roof. The sound rises and falls, in rhythm with the moving air. Jahan's breathing has become slow and deep, matching the rhythm of the night. His chest rises and falls, in perfect harmony with the natural world around him. His heartbeat slows, steady as the ticking of a great clock, marking time in the peaceful darkness. The fire burns lower, the flames smaller now, dancing weakly among the glowing coals. The light grows dimmer, softer, casting a gentle glow on Johan's peaceful face, on the massive trunk of the oak tree, on the white canvas covering the precious salt. Occasionally, a coal pops softly, sending a brief shower of sparks into the darkness. The sparks rise, glow for a moment, then fade and disappear, like tiny stars returning to the sky. Each small sound adds to the peaceful tapestry of night, weaving together into a blanket of tranquility. Listen to these sounds. Let them wash over you, through you. Feel how they quiet your mind, slow your thoughts, prepare your body for the deep, peaceful sleep that awaits. Jahan's eyes grow heavy, his breathing deeper, more regular. The day's journey has tired him, but it's a good tiredness. The satisfying exhaustion of work well done, of miles traveled safely, of precious cargo protected. His body sinks into the soft wool of his blanket, his muscles releasing their tension, his mind beginning to drift. He thinks of his destination, the small village 3 days ahead, where families wait for the salt he carries, where children will smile at the small trinkets he brings, where the baker's wife will have fresh bread cooling on wooden racks, where the innkeeper will have a warm fire and cold ale. He thinks of his own family, waiting in the distant city, his wife, her gentle hands, her warm smile, his young son, learning to read, eager to hear stories of the road, his daughter, growing tall and strong, helping her mother with the garden and the household tasks. These thoughts bring a smile to Johan's weathered face, even as his eyes close, even as sleep begins to claim him. The fire burns lower, the stars wheel slowly overhead, the brook continues its gentle murmur, and Johan drifts into peaceful dreams. In his dreams, he is flying, soaring above the salt roads, seeing the entire network of paths, like silver threads connecting distant places, connecting people, connecting past and future. He sees the miners in their underground chambers, the salt crystallizing in ancient caves, the villages where his salt will bring life and flavor. He sees the great cycle of trade, of commerce, of human connection, salt from the earth, carried by oxen and men, delivered to families, preserving their food, sustaining their lives, enabling them to survive, to thrive, to continue the endless story of human survival and growth. And in his dreams, Johan is at peace, knowing that his work matters, that his life has purpose, that he is part of something beautiful and eternal. The salt roads stretch on forever, carrying countless merchants, countless oxen, countless loads of precious cargo, an endless procession of human effort and care. Feel yourself joining Johan in his peaceful dreams, your body as relaxed as his, your breathing as deep and steady, Your mind is calm and clear. The night deepens, and with it, the profound peace of the medieval countryside. This is a peace that modern people rarely experience. The complete absence of mechanical sounds, of electrical hums, of traffic and sirens and all the noises of civilization. Here there is only the ancient music of the natural world. The oxen sleep deeply, their massive bodies warm and comfortable in the soft grass. Their breathing is deep and regular. Their dreams, if animals dream, filled with green pastures and cool streams. They are at peace, content, surrounded by the smells and sounds they've known all their lives. The oak tree stands sentinel, its roots deep in the earth, its branches reaching toward the stars. It has stood here for centuries, weathering storms and seasons, providing shelter for countless travelers. Its presence is solid, reassuring, eternal, a reminder that some things endure, that some things are permanent and reliable. The brook flows on, as it has for thousands of years, carrying water from distant mountains to distant seas. Its voice is timeless, unchanging, a constant in a world of change. The water reflects the stars, creating a flowing mirror of the heavens, connecting earth and sky in perfect harmony. Johann sleeps peacefully, his breathing slow and deep, his face relaxed and content. The day's worries have faded. The next day's challenges are still distant. Now there is only rest, only peace, only the gentle rhythm of a life lived in harmony with the natural world. The fire burns down to glowing embers, red and orange, pulsing gently like a sleeping heart. The light grows dimmer, softer, but never completely disappears. There is something eternal about fire, something that connects us to our ancestors, to the first humans who learned to tame flame and make it serve them. Feel this deep peace settling into your own body, your own mind. Feel how the ancient rhythms of this medieval night sync with your own natural rhythms, how the peace of this place becomes your peace, how the rest of this moment becomes your rest. As the night progresses, the stars wheel slowly overhead, marking the passage of time, but also the eternal nature of this moment. For thousands of years, travelers have camped beside brooks like this, under trees like this, beneath skies like this. The details change, but the essential experience remains the same. The salt that Johann carries connects him to this eternal cycle. Salt from ancient seas, concentrated and crystallized over millions of years, mined by human hands, carried by faithful animals, delivered to families who need it. It is part of the great wheel of life, of sustenance, of survival. The oxen who carry this precious cargo are part of the cycle too, bred and raised by farmers, trained to work with humans, fed on grass and grain, cared for and protected. Their strength and patience make civilization possible. Their willingness to work, to serve, to carry heavy loads over long distances, connects the scattered parts of the human world. The roads themselves are part of the cycle, worn smooth by countless feet, countless hooves, countless wheels. Each traveler who passes adds to the path, makes it easier for those who follow. The road is a living thing, constantly changing, constantly growing, constantly adapting to the needs of those who use it. Johann is part of this cycle, as his father was before him, as his son may be after him. Each generation of merchants, of traders, of travelers adds to the great river of commerce, of connection, of human cooperation. Each individual journey is part of a larger story, a story that began with the first humans who learned to trade, to share, to help each other survive. Feel yourself becoming part of this eternal cycle, this timeless rhythm of rest and work, of journey and arrival, of effort and reward. Your breathing matches the ancient rhythm. Your heartbeat synchronizes with the eternal pulse of life itself. If the salt could speak, it would tell stories of incredible journeys, of transformations that span geological ages. Each crystal began as a drop of seawater in oceans that existed millions of years ago. As the water evaporated, the salt remained, layer upon layer, compressed and concentrated, buried and preserved. Underground rivers carved great chambers in the rock, exposing veins of pure salt, white as snow, clear as glass. Miners followed these veins, working by candlelight, extracting the precious crystals, grain by grain, pound by pound. The work is dangerous, difficult, but essential. From the dark mines, the salt travels to the surface, loaded onto carts, then onto Johann's wagon. Each sack represents hours of labor, days of travel, years of geological formation. The salt carries with it the history of the earth, the story of ancient seas, the memory of time itself. Now it rests beneath the canvas covers, waiting for the next stage of its journey. In 3 days, it will reach the village, where it will be divided, distributed, sold to families who need it. Some will be used to preserve meat, some to flavor bread, some to heal wounds. Each grain will serve a purpose, will sustain life, will make survival possible. The salt's journey is almost over, but its purpose is just beginning. It will become part of the food that feeds children, the medicine that heals the sick, the preservation that allows families to survive the winter. It will transform from a mineral, a thing, into life itself, into health, into survival. This is the miracle of commerce, of trade, of human cooperation. Simple things, carried by simple people, become the foundation of civilization. The salt, the oxen, the merchant, the road, all working together, all serving the great purpose of human survival and flourishing. Feel yourself becoming part of this great purpose, this ancient mission of service and sustenance, as your body relaxes deeper, as your mind becomes as calm as the sleeping merchant, as peaceful as the oxen resting in the soft grass. Our story tonight begins atop a weathered stone tower, nestled on the edge of an ancient forest, where the trees whisper in old languages and the stars seem just a little closer than anywhere else. This is Eldwin Hold, and at the very highest room of the tower, where the wind hums low through the window slats, lives the lantern keeper. His name is Hal. Each night, while the village below curls into its quilts and cradles the hush of sleep, Halric climbs the final winding steps to light the beacon that keeps travelers safe. The lantern itself is no ordinary flame. It was forged generations ago, using a blend of oils and salts passed down from the old world. Some say the wick inside is wound from the hair of a saint. Others claim it once held fire struck from a star. Whatever the truth, the glow is golden and wide, and it reaches out across the hills like a promise. Halric prepares carefully. His steps are quiet, his mind calm. He begins by trimming the wick, the tiny silver shears making the softest snip in the still air. Then he polishes the glass housing, round and clear, with a cloth dipped in lemon balm and warm water. The scent fills the room, mingling with the faint aroma of beeswax and old pine. Outside, the sky deepens to blue-black velvet. The first stars appear, twinkling like candlelight through lace. You might imagine how it feels to lean against the window ledge here, cooled stone under your forearms, the breeze feathering your hair, the sounds of the forest gently rising. There's the trickle of a faraway stream. A single owl calls out once, then again, and beneath it all, the comforting tick of Halric's wall clock, an heirloom from his father's time, carved by hand and painted with a tiny scene of starlit fields. Halric lights the lantern. The flame flares, then settles into a steady glow. He lifts it carefully into its cradle by the window, where its light spills out into the darkness, tracing the hills, catching on the leaves, reaching far into the woods beyond. From down in the valley, a traveler may see it and breathe easier. For centuries, this light has meant safety. It marks the end of a long road, the edge of shelter, a place to rest. Halric sits in his worn wooden chair, his shawl wrapped around his shoulders, the lantern humming beside him. He often reads during the early hours of his watch. Tonight, He opens an old volume bound in green leather. The pages smell faintly of time and ink, but his eyes wander to the window. There's something about this night, the stillness of it, the way the clouds pass silently over the moon that calls for remembering. And so he thinks back to the days when this tower first rose from the earth, built stone by stone by masons whose names are long lost. They say the first lantern keeper, Marion, would sing as she worked, filling the upper tower with lullabies that echoed down into the trees. Wanderers would pause outside the forest just to listen. In those days, the lantern burned with tallow candles, hand-dipped in rows, and lit one by one with a taper from the hearth. The light didn't stretch as far then, but it was constant, reliable, like the heartbeat of the village itself. Howrick smiles at the thought. He closes the book and instead lets his gaze trace the constellations. Orion rising now, to the southeast, the faint line of Pegasus near the top of the window. The tower stones creak softly in the night wind. It is not a frightening sound, more like a house breathing. Settle in the fire crackles low in the hearth behind him. He leans back, his hands resting in his lap. And you, dear listener, are here in the room too, wrapped in your own quiet stillness, listening to the soft tick of the clock, the crackle of the fire, the endless hush of the wind beyond the window. Let yourself stay with this moment. There is nowhere else to be, no thoughts to chase, only the warmth of the lantern's glow, the quiet strength of the tower walls, and the peaceful rhythm of night. The night wears on, slow and soft, as though the stars themselves are rocking gently in the cradle of the sky. Howrick shifts slightly in his chair, the worn fabric rustling beneath him. He places a small copper kettle over the hearth's edge, filled with dried chamomile and a sprig of mint from the garden just outside the tower base. Even this high up, the scent of the village garden sometimes rides the wind. Basil, a faint perfume of ripened apples. As the kettle warms, Howrick gazes once again at the lantern flame. It is steady, unwavering, like a keeper of secrets. The glass glints gently, reflecting the shimmer of the moon, and in its heart the golden wick dances with a kind of memory. Some say these lanterns were originally inspired by the watchfires of medieval monasteries, where monks would tend quiet flames through long nights of reading and prayer. Light meant vigilance. It meant care, and in times of unrest, it meant safety in the dark. Howrick remembers hearing that tale as a child, how certain abbeys used hourglasses to measure the night, turning them precisely with the rise of each new psalm. That ancient rhythm, he thinks, still echoes here in the tower, not in prayers, but in presence, in the act of simply keeping watch. Outside, a soft mist begins to form over the hills, curling low and pale over the trees. It isn't cold, not harsh gust, the kind of drifting fog that makes the world seem quieter, closer. Even the owls grow still for a time. He pours his tea, the liquid steeped to a soft honey hue, and takes a slow sip. The warmth spreads through him gently, not rousing, but grounding. He turns to the small wooden chest at his side and draws out a bundle of aged parchment, tied in faded blue ribbon. It creaks a little as he unfolds it, revealing letters from generations of lantern keepers past, each writing a note to the one who would follow. Some are simple observations. Strong winds tonight. Lantern held fast. New wax blend burns longer. Keep recipe safe. Others are more poetic. Watched a deer wander below. Thought of home. Dreamed of fireflies returning to the valley, maybe this spring. And one dated over 200 years ago catches his breath. If you're reading this by firelight, may the stars be kind. Remember that watching is a gift, not a burden. We are the lull between footsteps, the hush between days. Howrick places the letter carefully aside. His hand lingers on the page, then he folds it gently, as though tucking a memory back into its nest. The clock on the wall chimes once. A low, bell-like note. It does not break the silence, but rather deepens it. The village sleeps on. He thinks of them farmers, weavers, children curled in cradles, the baker who rises before dawn, the elder whose candle burns low into the night, copying poems into neat, careful script. None of them may ever see the lantern's keeper, but they know he is there, as certain as the moon, as quiet as snowfall, and far beyond the village, past the fields and old hedgerows. Travelers too may catch sight of the light. It rests on the horizon like a promise, a sign that the path continues, that someone, somewhere, is awake and watching. There's a story, old and half forgotten, about a group of pilgrims from the northern territories lost in a storm, wandering toward nothing until one caught sight of a light blinking faintly on the horizon. They followed it for hours, unsure if it was real, unsure if they themselves were real. When they arrived at Eldwin Hold, the wind dropped. The stars returned. The rain ceased. They say one of them, an elder woman wrapped in grey wool, wept at the doorstep. "I saw the end," she whispered, "and instead I found a beginning." Halric has read that story in the village annals, but something in the way the words were written makes him wonder. Was it not just a tale? He finishes his tea. The fire crackles again, low and rich. Shadows shift on the stone walls like old cloaks brushing past. He rises slowly, walking to the eastern window now, where a new band of stars peeks between the curtains of fog, and just there on the trail that cuts between pine and asher flicker, a spark, a tiny golden light moving through the mist, a lantern, someone walking, perhaps a shepherd returning late from pasture, or a herbalist crossing the wood with care. Halric watches until the light is gone, then he reaches for his journal and makes a quiet note. Lantern passed through Eastwood, not hurried, no trouble scene, light, steady. The act of writing itself is soothing, a tether to the moment. He rests, the pen closes the book, and once again the hush returns, full and soft, like a blanket pulled gently up to the chin. Outside, the moon dips a little lower. Inside, the lantern's glow is constant, and you, dear listener, may begin to feel your body softening further into stillness. The story moves like a slow stream now. No need to follow every word. Just let the rhythm carry you. Let the sound settle like dust on old stone. Let go. You are safe. You are watched over. The lantern burns on. The hush of the hour deepens. The fire rests low, its coals glowing like softened rubies in the heart. Halric moves slowly now, every step in harmony with the silence that surrounds him. He is not tired in the usual sense, but comes settled, as though the stillness of the tower has entered his bones. A soft sigh escapes him, not from weariness, but from peace. He pulls a woolen shawl over his shoulders, worn smooth from long use, and walks quietly to the west fasten window. The stone here is cool under his fingertips, worn by time, shaped by the hands of other keepers before him. The window overlooks the valley, a soft black canvas now, dotted by occasional flickers of light from farmhouse windows or distant shepherd fires. Above, the stars bloom brighter. In the Middle Ages, Halric once read, these constellations were more than beauty, they were guides. Maronas used the North Star, constant in its place, to navigate vast seas. Farmers read the positions of Orion and Cygnus to mark the passing of seasons and the times to sow or reap. There is comfort in that timelessness, in knowing that others, hundreds of years ago, stood under the same sky and found their way by it. He leans slightly on the sill, and in the distance, hears the faint bleating of a sheep, likely a lamb that strayed from its mother. The sound rises gently through the mist and fades just as softly. The quiet returns. Behind him, the flame within the tower's great lantern flickers a little, catching the faint draught from the chimney. He watches it steady again. This fire, unlike the hearth, must never go out. It is fed by a blend of beeswax and tallow, as medieval lamplighters once used in churches and city squares. The recipe here is old, passed down through the keepers, said to last through a full night, with only one careful tending. Each evening Halric melts and pours the mixture, trims the wick with a narrow brass scissor, and positions the reflector mirror to face the eastward path toward the roads most traveled by villagers, pilgrims, and returning sons. The tower isn't high, not grand or gilded, but it's placed just so on the hill its light seen by all, like a thread in the tapestry of the town. He turns from the window and crosses to the tall wooden cabinet against the wall. Opening it slowly, he reveals rows of small wooden drawers, each labeled in looping script: winds of summer, rainfall totals, star patterns, messages never sent. These aren't formal records. They're the kind of notes only someone who truly watches would keep. In one drawer, a piece of parchment reads, "Small boy seen dancing with dog in orchard early dusk." Sounded like a flute, but no flute seen. Another simply says, "Cloud shaped like crown drifted west." Good omen. He smiles softly and closes the drawer. These little records are more than idle thoughts. They are memory, shaped by quiet observation. In Halric's care, they become part of the long, unbroken line of watchers before him. He sits again by the lantern table, this time drawing out a long quill and dipping it into ink. With quiet strokes, he begins a new entry in the book of nightly watch. Midst the lantern burns clean, no wind to speak of. One lantern seen to east, flame steady, mist along the ridge, quiet dreams over the village. He pauses and adds one more line. After a long breath, "The stars tonight are sharp and kind." He blots the ink gently, folds the journal closed, and lays it in its resting place. The hush continues. You, too, might begin to feel this softness, how time slows when it is watched gently. The hours are no longer something to pass through, but something to float within, like drifting on a calm lake at twilight. Outside the window, the mist begins to lift in delicate strands. The moon now lies low on the horizon, its silver face half-veiled, like a secret told only to those who stay awake to see it. The lantern flame beside Halric glows more golden than before it, with the hues of approaching dawn. But there is still time yet before light returns in full. Still time to sit in stillness, to remember the old ways, to feel the gentle rhythm of a world held together by soft routines and ancient lights. And in the distance, just faintly now, you might imagine the sound of hooves on a quiet road. Not hurried, not loud, just the soft, occasional rhythm of someone traveling home. Perhaps they are drawn to the light, perhaps they always have been, and perhaps you, too, are finding your way step by step toward your own quiet rest. Let your eyes grow heavy, let your breath soften, let this story keep watch a while longer. The lantern still burns. You are not alone. Somewhere in the lower village, a cock crows soft and early, like a question rather than a declaration. But the world is still wrapped in slumber, and the tower holds the night a little longer. Halric lifts his head from the leather-backed chair, where he'd let his eyes close just briefly. He did not sleep, not quite, but allowed himself to drift with the rhythm of the flame. A keeper's rest is light, and ever attuned to the quiet language of the hour. He rises once more, moving without hurry, and retrieves a brass lantern from a low shelf. This one is smaller, meant for walking the spiral stairs that circle the tower's stone spine. Its sides are etched with vines and stars, and its latch clicks softly as he opens it. A taper candle inside catches the flame from the central lamp with a gentle hiss. He shields it with his hand, then turns toward the stairwell. The tower's stairs spiral downward in slow, echoing circles. Each step is worn slightly in the center, polished by centuries of feet like feet, heavy feet, feet unsure and feet returning. He descends slowly. On the second floor, he pauses. This chamber is filled with simple comforts: a cot with thick wool blankets, a table with a cup of elderberry tea gone cold, and shelves lined with scrolls. Some are maps, some are histories, some are personal musings written by lantern keepers long gone, their thoughts now preserved in curling script. Let the night never feel empty. Let each light be a promise. Ulrich kneels beside a low wooden box beneath the table. From it, he draws a folded cloth or traveler's map inked by hand. On its surface, hills, roads, hamlets, old forests, and ancient ruins drawn in gold thread. The kind of map not sold in shops, but passed along by those who remember. He traces a path with his finger from the lantern tower, down the hill, across the silver bridge, to a shaded glade once believed to be watched over by silent monks who grew lavender and wore bells on their ankles to gently warn small creatures of their presence. Some say those monks never spoke, except in their dreams. Ulrich folds the map carefully and returns it. The tower has always been a place of quiet memory, of gentle observation, of light tended with intention. Back on his feet, he continues down the stairs, lantern in hand. On the first floor, he stops at a heavy oak door and opens it slowly. The outside air is cool, kissed by dew. Grass whispers underfoot as he steps beyond the threshold. The lantern's golden glow makes a small halo in the mist. He walks a short distance to the edge of the eastern ridge. From here, the entire village can be seen, rooftops snug beneath thatched coverings, chimney smoke spiraling like soft ribbon, and the river curling around them all like a protective arm. It's still too early for waking, yet one or two windows show signs of flickering hearthlight, perhaps a baker already stoking the morning's fire, or an old man who rises early out of habit and sits beside the coals with a book he's read a dozen times. Ulrich lifts the lantern slightly, a gesture more felt than seen, and stands a while longer. In medieval times, it was said that light was not merely for vision, it was a ward against the unknown. Towns kept candles burning in windows, not only for illumination, but to guide the spirits of loved ones home, and to quietly say, "You are remembered." He turns back toward the tower. A pair of doves stir in the ivy-covered wall. Their feathers shift like soft linen, and they do not fly. This place is safe to them. Familiar, he steps back inside, closing the door with a soft click. Up the stairs once more, his lantern flickering with each movement. He returns to the top chamber, where the great light still burns steady. Sure, he opens a small clay jar near the hearth. Inside are dried lavender blossoms, collected from the slope behind the tower last summer. He sprinkles a few into the fire. They curl and vanish with a scent like old books, clean cloth, and something gently floral. This was a tradition passed down, quietly lavender, at the turning of the watch. It's said the scent calms the spirit and carries dreams more safely. He sets the jar aside and sits again in his chair. Outside, the sky is beginning to pale. A soft blue creeps at the edges of the darkness, and the stars begin their slow retreat. But the flame remains, warm, constant. Ulrich closes his eyes not to sleep, but to listen. You may notice now how gentle everything becomes in these moments. Even your breath slows to match the hush. The world, once so busy and sharp, melts into comfort, into rhythm. A breeze lifts, barely touching the shutters, and in that breeze, it's almost possible to imagine voices from long ago, the keepers, the watchers, the dreamers still lingering in the silence, still tending the light, still waiting for you to find peace in their watch. Let your limbs grow soft. Let the worries of the waking world drift like mist down a hillside. You are held here, safe within stone and story. The lantern burns still, and soon a new day will rise. The sky is changing now. Soft strokes of light begin to color the horizon blush pink, then the faintest orange, like the glow from a candle behind silk. The stars, once so vivid, now retreat behind the veil of coming day, their quiet duty complete. Ulrich remains seated, still as a shadow, watching this slow unfolding. The lantern, too, glows on, its golden flame undimmed, though it will soon no longer be needed. The hour before dawn was once believed to be the most sacred. In medieval lore, It was the time when the veil between worlds was thinnest, when dreams might drift into waking minds and memories, long buried, might stir. Some monks called it the hour of grace, a moment for prayer, reflection, and silence. Halric has always honored that. He reaches once more for the keeper's journal and opens it to the final page for the night. The ink flows smoothly, the feather of the quill nearly weightless in his hand. Lantern kept steady through the darkest watch. Mist held until first light. Birds began their song softly from the south side trees. Stars bowed out gently. Light returns, as always. He closes the book with care. From the north-facing window, he hears the faint creak of a cart's wheels on the village road. Someone is already beginning their day, perhaps the miller, making the slow path to the stream, or the baker, bringing sacks of flour to his ovens. Even in stillness, life goes on. Halric rises and stretches, joints quiet, breath steady. He walks to the great lantern and gently begins the morning ritual of letting the flame die down. It is not extinguished with water or force, but allowed to fade, its wick lowered, the oil gently stilled. In this tower, light is always treated with reverence. The room begins to dim. He opens a narrow shutter, letting in the first true rays of sunlight. They spill across the stone floor like honey, warm and golden. Dust motes drift in the beam, turning slowly in the air like tiny stars of their own. Halric stands in the light a moment, then gently lowers the cloth over the lantern juiced, as every keeper has done before him. There will be another night, another watch, another chance to keep the world gently lit while others sleep. You may feel that softness now in your chest, like a candle behind your ribs, small and steady. You may even find that you, too, are a kind of keeper of peace, of memory, of quiet light in the dark. Let that feeling stay with you. Let it carry you through dreams like a boat upon calm water. The birds outside are singing nosperos and blackbirds, calling out not in alarm, but in joy, as if to say, you made it through the dark. The day is yours again, but there is no rush. The sun may rise, but you are still wrapped in the warmth of the tower, the glow of the lantern, the calm hush of stone and sky. Close your eyes, if you haven't already. Drift gently. Sleep, if you wish. The watch is over. The light has been kept. You are safe and seen and softly held by time, and the lantern still burns within. The world was still wrapped in a gentle hush. The sky above was a soft canvas of deep blues and greys, where the first hints of dawn were just beginning to stretch their pale fingers across the horizon. A thin veil of mist hovered quietly over the calm waters, like a silken blanket laid carefully by the night itself. Everything felt tender and slow, as if the earth was holding its breath in those final moments before morning. Near the edge of the water, a small wooden boat bobbed gently. Its worn planks creaked softly with the motion of the gentle waves. In the boat sat an old fisherman, his weathered hands steady and sure as he prepared his nets. The man's face was calm, his eyes reflecting the soft shimmer of the water. He moved with a quiet grace, practiced from years spent waking before dawn to meet the sea. There was a rhythm to his motions, a slow and soothing dance. The nets, heavy with memories of past catches and whispered prayers for good fortune, slipped through his fingers and into the water with a gentle splash. The droplets sparkled briefly in the dim light before melting back into the sea. It was a sound as soft as a lullaby. The fisherman knew the sea held many secrets. For centuries, those who lived by the water believed the ocean spoke in whispers, quiet messages carried on the waves to those who would listen. The sea was thought to bring dreams of peace and plenty, especially when greeted with respect in the early morning hours. The cool air was tinged with the scent of salt and earth, and the mist curled slowly around the boat like a soft breath. The fisherman's oars dipped gently into the water, their rhythmic splash breaking the silence with a steady, calming beat. The sound was like a heartbeat, steady and sure. As the boat drifted forward, the fisherman's thoughts wandered softly to the stories his grandfather had told him, stories of ancient fishermen who trusted the whispers of the sea to guide their way. Some believed the sea's voice was carried by spirits, gentle guardians watching over those who worked its depths. Others thought the ocean's hush was a secret language, one that could soothe troubled minds and fill the heart with quiet hope. The sun had not yet risen, but the world was already beginning to awaken in a slow, gentle way. Birds nestled in the trees on the distant shore began to stir, their soft calls weaving through the morning mist. The fisherman welcomed the peaceful sounds, letting them settle softly in his mind like a warm blanket. He paused for a moment, resting his hands on the smooth wood of the boat. The water beneath him was so still it seemed to hold the sky itself, reflecting back the pale light like a mirror. Everything was quiet and calm, as if time had slowed just for this moment. The fisherman's breath came steady and deep, matching the gentle rhythm of the sea. His heart beat softly in his chest, a slow drum that echoed the peaceful pulse of the morning. He felt connected to the water, the sky, and the earth in a way that was hard to put into words. It was a feeling of belonging, of being part of something larger and ancient. With careful hands, he checked the nets, feeling the smooth weave of the ropes against his fingers. These nets had been made long ago by skilled hands, using techniques passed down through generations. Each knot was tied with care and purpose, a quiet symbol of hope for the day's catch. The sea around him was a place of quiet magic. Though the world seemed asleep, the water teemed with life beneath the surface. Fish moved slowly through the depths, their scales catching the faint light like scattered stars. The fisherman knew that soon the sun would rise and the day would begin in earnest. But for now, there was only this soft, peaceful moment. He smiled softly, feeling the calm wash over him like a gentle tide. The whispers of the sea were with him, carrying their quiet promise of peace and plenty. As the boat floated slowly forward, the fisherman allowed his thoughts to drift like the mist, soft and slow, ready to lead him gently into the day. The first light of dawn began to spread slowly across the sky, painting it in soft shades of pink and gold. The mist over the water shimmered faintly, as if dusted with fairy dust, and the world seemed wrapped in a delicate glow. The fisherman's boat drifted quietly through the calm sea, each gentle ripple a soft whisper against the wood. He reached down into the water, fingers grazing the surface, feeling the coolness slip between them like a secret. Long ago, people believed the sea was a living spirit itself, a guardian of hidden treasures and silent stories. Fishermen often whispered prayers to the waves before casting their nets, asking for safe passage and a good harvest from the depths below. The nets, woven with patience and skill, had been passed down from father to son for generations. Each loop and knot carried the wisdom of the past acquired, promised that the sea would provide if treated with respect. The fisherman moved slowly as he pulled the nets back in, the soft splash and gentle strain a soothing rhythm against the quiet morning. Beneath the water's surface, schools of silver fish glided gracefully, their bodies shimmering like tiny stars in the fading dark. The fisherman's eyes followed their dance, calm and steady. In medieval times, fish were not only a source of food, but held special meaning, symbols of life and faith, often appearing in the artwork and stories told around crackling huts. The boat rocked gently, rocking the fisherman in a slow cradle of water and sky. He breathed deeply, the salty air filling his lungs and bringing a sense of calm that settled warmly in his chest. It was a feeling that only those who live so close to nature could know the quiet understanding that all things are connected, moving in a soft, steady flow. As he worked, the fisherman noticed the faint calls of seabirds overhead. Their wings traced lazy arcs in the morning light, gliding and dipping in smooth patterns. These birds, ever watchful, were trusted companions to fishermen throughout the ages, signaling where the best catches might be found. Their songs were gentle music carried on the breeze, adding to the peaceful chorus of dawn. The fisherman smiled softly to himself, his thoughts drifting like the morning clouds. He recalled a little-known custom from medieval coastal villages where fishermen would leave small offerings, woven charms, or herbs at the water's edge. These gifts were meant to honor the sea spirits, asking for protection and kindness during long voyages. The sun rose higher, casting a warm glow across the water and painting the waves in shimmering gold. The mist began to lift, slowly unveiling the coastline with its green hills and quiet cottages. Life was waking up gently all around, but here in this small boat, time seemed to slow once more. With careful hands, the fisherman gathered the nets fully, the soft weight of the day's potential catch settling in. He paused, letting the warmth of the sun touch his face, and closed his eyes for a brief moment. The world was quiet, calm, and safer, perfect lullaby of nature's own making. He began to row back toward shore, the gentle splash of the oars blending with the soft songs of the morning birds. Every movement was deliberate, slow, and steady, carrying him gently through the waking day. As the boat glided forward, the fisherman felt a deep gratitude for the sea's quiet gifts and the peaceful promise of each new dawn. The gentle rocking of the boat carried the fisherman toward the shore, each stroke of the oars a soft, rhythmic beat in the still morning. The water rippled quietly, reflecting the growing light as the sun climbed higher, spreading warmth over the gentle waves. The world seemed to hold its breath in peaceful anticipation. As he neared the shore, the fisherman's eyes caught the first flickers of movement along the beach. Early risers, perhaps, starting their day with quiet tasks or simple moments of calm. The shoreline was dotted with smooth stones and scattered seashells, each one holding whispers of the ocean's faraway journeys. In his village, the fisherman knew the day would soon bustle with life. But these early hours belonged to silence and reflection, a sacred time when the border between dreams and waking was soft and blurred. It was said that in those moments, the spirits of the sea walked close to land, watching over those who lived by the water. The fisherman's thoughts drifted to an old tale passed down in hushed voices by his grandmother. She had spoken of a mystical lantern crafted centuries ago by a humble village smith. This lantern was no ordinary light. It was said to capture the glow of the moon itself, casting a gentle silver radiance that calmed the restless hearts of those who saw it. The smith, the story went, had forged the lantern with delicate care, using ancient runes and carefully chosen metals. It was believed to hold the power of guidance, a soft beacon for lost travelers and wary fishermen alike. Many claimed that on foggy nights, the lantern's glow would dance across the waves, leading safe passage back to shore. As the fisherman pulled his boat up onto the soft sand, the warmth of the sun kissed his skin, and he felt the peace of the morning settle deep within him. The day was beginning, but the quiet magic of the dawn lingered, wrapped in the gentle embrace of sea and sky. He gathered his nets and tools slowly, each motion unhurried and calm. Nearby, the village's smoke rose in soft curls from stone chimneys, promising the simple comforts of home-warm bread, fresh fish, and the quiet hum of daily life. The fisherman looked out over the water one last time before turning toward the village path. The sea whispered softly, a gentle farewell until tomorrow's dawn, and as he walked beneath the stretching branches of ancient trees, he carried with him the soft glow of the lantern's legend, a symbol of hope and calm, perfect for the close of day. The path from the shore to the village wound gently through a quiet forest, where dappled sunlight filtered softly through the leaves. The fisherman's footsteps were light, barely stirring the fallen needles beneath his worn boots. Each step felt like a gentle heartbeat, steady and calm, echoing the slow rhythm of the waking world. Along the path, wildflowers nodded in the breeze, their delicate petals whispering secrets of the earth. The villagers believed that certain flowers held magical properties, gifts from the ancient land itself. One such bloom was the bluebell, said to ring softly when touched by the wind, calling forth dreams of peace and protection. As the fisherman walked, he recalled the stories told by traveling bards who sometimes visited the village. These wandering storytellers shared tales of knights and castles, but also of everyday lives woven with small wonders. One story that lingered in his mind was of a secret herb, known only to healers, that could soothe restless souls and bring gentle sleep. In the heart of the village, the stone cottages stood quiet and still, their chimneys resting after the morning smoke had faded. The fisherman paused by a small garden where an old woman tended rows of herbs and flowers with tender care. She smiled softly as their eyes met, a silent greeting wrapped in warmth. The village square was empty now, but soon it would fill with the murmur of voices and the soft clatter of market stalls. For now, the calm lingered like a soft blanket, inviting rest and quiet reflection. The fisherman took a deep breath, feeling the peace settle deeper within him, like the gentle closing of a book. He thought of the lantern's soft glow once more, imagining its light weaving through the evening mist. The legend said it could calm even the most troubled heart, a steady flame against the night's shadows. It was a reminder that, no matter how dark the world might seem, there was always a gentle light to guide the way home. As the sun began its slow descent, painting the sky with soft hues of amber and rose, the fisherman found his way to a small bench beneath a sprawling oak tree. He sat quietly, the world around him settling into a gentle hush. The soft rustle of leaves and the distant call of nightbirds wove a lullaby for the evening. He closed his eyes, feeling the day's warmth fade into the cool embrace of twilight. The lantern's light seemed to glow softly within his heart, a quiet promise of peace and rest. And with that, the fisherman drifted gently into a calm, peaceful sleep, cradled by the whispers of the sea and the quiet magic of the night. The night had deepened into a soft velvet sky, sprinkled with countless stars that twinkled like distant lanterns hanging just beyond reach. The fisherman remained beneath the great oak, its broad branches cradling the quiet night like a gentle guardian. A cool breeze whispered through the leaves, carrying the scent of salt and earth, a familiar comfort that eased every breath. In the village, windows glowed softly with candlelight, each flicker a small beacon of warmth and safety. Inside, families had settled into their homes, voices hushed into tender lullabies and the peaceful sighs of rest. The world had slowed, wrapped in a serene stillness that invited dreams to gently unfurl. The fisherman's thoughts drifted once more to the ancient lantern, the legend he had carried quietly through the day. It was said that the lantern's light did more than guide lost travelers. It also held the power to heal weary hearts, to quiet fears, and to cradle restless minds in gentle calm. The very metals forged into its frame were believed to carry the whispers of the sea, while the runes etched upon its glass shimmered with soft silver light. He imagined the lantern glowing now, somewhere far across the waves, casting its protective glow over sailors and dreamers alike. In his mind's eye, the lantern floated on the water's surface, weaving a path of shimmering light that promised safe return and peaceful rest. The fisherman reached into his pocket and drew out a small, smooth stone, worn soft by years of tides and travels. It was a keepsake, a reminder of the enduring bond between the land and sea, between past and present. He traced its curves slowly, feeling the quiet strength. It held steady, enduring, like the gentle heartbeat of the ocean itself. As the night deepened, a distant owl called softly, a single, soothing note that rippled through the stillness. The fisherman smiled gently and closed his eyes, allowing the sounds of the night to wash over him like a calming tide. The rustle of leaves, the murmur of the sea, the faint chorus of cricketall became a lullaby, a gentle cradle rocking him toward peaceful sleep. He thought of the days ahead, the rising sun and the quiet work that awaited. But for now, there was only this moment, a tender pause, a breath held in soft twilight. The fisherman's heart beat in time with the slow rhythm of the world, steady and calm. And so, wrapped in the quiet magic of the night, he drifted deeper into dreams. The ancient lantern's light glowed softly, a silent guardian watching over him and all who walked beneath the stars. It was a light that never dimmed, a promise of peace and safety whispered across time. With that gentle thought, the story softly closes, inviting you to rest, to dream, and to carry the calm of the fisherman's dawn into your own peaceful night. As we come to the gentle close of our time together, allow yourself to sink fully into the calm that surrounds you. Feel the softness of this moment, like a gentle breeze brushing over quiet fields under a moonlit sky. There is nothing more to do now, no need to hold on to any thoughts or cares. They can drift away, light as feathers floating on a still pond. Breathe in slowly, drawing peace deep into your lungs, and breathe out, releasing any tension or heaviness you may be carrying. With each breath, feel yourself growing lighter, calmer, as if you are becoming part of the soft night itself. Imagine your body resting on a bed of moss in a quiet forest glade, the air cool and fragrant with the scent of pine and earth. The stories we shared tonight of lanterns glowing in the darkness, of fishermen watching the sea, of nights resting beneath ancient oak stay, are now gentle whispers in your heart. They are like a warm fire glowing softly inside you, a light to carry you safely through the night. Let their quiet magic soothe your mind and bring peace to every corner of your being. Picture the lantern's soft glow casting dancing shadows on the walls of a cozy stone cottage, the flickering light weaving stories that have traveled across centuries. Feel the gentle rhythm of the waves on a distant shore, carrying secrets of the past and promises of restful dreams. Let these images wash over you, calm and steady, like a lullaby sung by the earth itself. Know that in this moment you are safe, wrapped in the quiet embrace of night, protected by the gentle watch of stars and the stillness of ancient woods. Your heart beats softly, steady and sure, like the slow pulse of the world settling into sleep. There is no hurry, no need to rush. Time is a quiet river flowing gently toward peace. As you lie there, breathing slow and deep, imagine a soft, shimmering cloak of night wrapping around you, warm and light as a feather. This cloak is made of all the kindness and calm that the world can offer, carrying you gently into the sweetest of dreams. You are cradled by the night, held tenderly until morning's first light. Let your mind drift like a small boat on a calm lake, carried by quiet currents, toward places of rest and renewal. If any stray thoughts arise, simply notice them and let them float away like leaves on a breeze. There is nothing for you to do now but rest and be still. Remember that every story has its ending, and now this one softly closes. But the peace it brings stays with you, like a quiet song humming in your soul. You carry the light of the lantern, the calm of the sea, and the strength of the ancient oak wherever you go. Soon, sleep will come to you like a gentle tide, pulling you deeper into rest. Trust this night to heal and refresh you. When you wake, you will feel renewed, calm, and ready to greet the day with a peaceful heart. Thank you for allowing me to share these stories with you, to be your companion in this quiet journey. May your dreams be sweet and your sleep deep. Good night, dear friend. Until we meet again beneath the stars, rest well and know you are gently held in the calm of this moment.